Dr. Lisa Morgan sat in front of the large computer screen. The green lines moved up and down like waves on the ocean. She had been watching these lines for 6 hours now. It was 3 in the morning and she was tired, but this was her job. She listened to space, hoping to hear something new. The radio telescope was huge. It was bigger than 3 football fields put together. It pointed up at the dark sky, catching sounds from faraway stars. Most of the time, it only heard noise. Space was mostly quiet. Lisa drank her cold coffee and rubbed her eyes. She was about to take a break when something changed. The green lines on her screen started moving in a different way. They made patterns, not random noise like usual. These patterns looked like they meant something. "Kevin," she called out. Dr. Kevin Blake was in the next room, checking other equipment. He was her work partner and her friend. They had worked together for 5 years. Kevin walked into her room. His hair was messy, and he looked as tired as she felt. "What is it, Lisa? Did you find something?" Lisa pointed at her screen. "Look at this. These patterns are not normal. They repeat every few seconds. And look here." She pointed to different parts of the screen. "The signal is using math. Simple math, but still math." Kevin leaned closer to look. His eyes grew wide. "This is not natural. Natural signals from space don't use math patterns. This has to be made by someone smart." They spent the next hour studying the signal. The patterns were clear. The signal used prime numbers. It used the number pi. It used other math that only thinking beings would know. This was proof. Someone out there was trying to talk. "We need to decode this," Lisa said. Her hands shook a little. In all her years of work, she had never found anything like this. This could change everything. Kevin ran to get his laptop. "I have a program that can help us translate patterns into language. It might work." They worked together for 3 more hours. The signal was complex, but they were smart too. Slowly, they began to understand what it was saying. The message was in parts. Each part told them something new and terrible. The first part said, "We are the people of Zephyria. Our world is dying. We need help." Lisa felt her heart beat faster. These were real aliens. Real people from another world. And they were in trouble. The second part was worse. The Devourers came to our world 50 years ago. They eat everything. They eat our plants. They eat our animals. They eat our people. We have fought them, but we are losing. Kevin stopped typing. Devourers. What kind of creatures are these? They kept working. The third part of the message told them more. The Devourers are not like us. They are part machine, part living thing. When they eat something, they become stronger. They learn from what they eat. They have eaten many worlds before ours. Lisa felt sick. She tried to imagine creatures that ate entire worlds. It was like a nightmare. The fourth part said, "We are the last city on Zephyria. Maybe 1 million of us are left. We used to be billions. The Devourers will reach us in 10 days. We send this message to anyone who can hear. Please remember us. Please keep our knowledge safe." The last part was the most important. "We send you our history. We send you our science. We send you our art. If we must die, let something of us live on. We have put everything into this signal. We hope someone kind will receive it." Lisa and Kevin sat in silence for a long time. Finally, Kevin spoke. "They're all going to die. These people, these aliens, they're all going to die, and there's nothing we can do about it." "How far away are they?" Lisa asked. Kevin checked his calculations. "The signal took about 40 years to reach us. They're 40 light years away. Even if we could travel at the speed of light, we'd get there too late." Lisa stood up and walked to the window. Outside, the sun was starting to rise. The world looked normal. People would wake up soon and go to work. They would not know that, somewhere in space, an entire world was dying. "We have to tell someone," she said. "We can't just keep this to ourselves." Kevin nodded. But who, and what will they do? Lisa picked up the phone. She called Commander Jake Sullivan at NORAD, NORAD. Watched the skies for threats to Earth. If anyone would know what to do, it would be them. Commander Sullivan? This is Dr. Lisa Morgan, at the Radio Telescope Facility. I need to report something very important. We've received a message from space. From aliens. And sir, they're in terrible trouble. The phone was quiet for a moment. Then Commander Sullivan spoke. Dr. Morgan, are you certain about this? This is not something we can treat lightly. I'm completely certain, sir. The signal is real. The math proves it came from intelligent beings. And sir, there's something else. The creatures that are killing these aliens, they move from world to world. They eat everything alive. What if they come here next? Another long pause. Dr. Morgan, I'm sending a team to your location immediately. Don't talk to anyone else about this. Don't post anything online. This is now a matter of national security. Lisa hung up the phone. Her hands were still shaking. In just a few hours, everything had changed. Humans were not alone in the universe, but they had learned this in the worst possible way. Kevin was still studying the alien data. Lisa, look at this. They sent us their entire history. Their science is amazing. They know how to do things we can't even imagine. But none of it was enough to stop the devourers. Lisa looked at the screen again. Somewhere out there, people were dying. People who had built cities and made art and discovered the secrets of their world. In 10 days, they would all be gone. She wondered if Earth would be next. 2 days after the alien message was discovered, the White House was full of people. Scientists, military officers, and world leaders had all come to Washington. They sat around a big table in a room, deep underground. The room had no windows and thick walls. Nobody could listen to what they said here. President Amanda Foster looked tired. She had not slept much since hearing about the alien signal. Around the table sat people from many countries. Everyone wanted to know what Earth should do. Dr. Morgan, the president said, please tell everyone what you found. Lisa stood up. She was nervous. These were the most powerful people on Earth. But she knew her job was important. The signal came from a planet called Zephyria. The people there are being killed by creatures called devourers. These creatures eat everything alive on a planet, then move to the next planet. General Patricia Williams, head of the military, asked, how do we know this is real? How do we know it's not some kind of trick? Dr. Kevin Blake answered, the math in the signal is too complex to fake. Also, they sent us 40 years of their history. No human could make up that much information. It's real. The president looked around the table. The question is, should we answer them? Dr. Carol Davis, who studied languages, spoke up. We should answer. These people are dying. They asked us to remember them. It's the right thing to do. But General Williams shook her head. If we answer, we tell them where Earth is. What if these devourers can trace our signal back to us? What if we bring danger to our own world? The room was quiet for a moment. Everyone was thinking about the same thing. Was it worth the risk? Dr. Ryan Mitchell, a scientist who worked with space technology, said, we can send a very short message, just enough to let them know someone heard them. We don't have to give away much information. Captain Steve Harris, who commanded Earth's newest spaceship, agreed. We have 12 ships in space now. They're not much, but they're better than nothing. Maybe we can defend Earth if we have to. President Foster made the decision. We will send a message. Dr. Davis, I want you to write it. Keep it simple, but kind. Let them know that someone heard their call for help. Dr. Davis spent hours writing the message. She worked with Dr. Mitchell to make sure it would be sent correctly. The message was short, but it said important things. People of Zephyria, we have received your message. We are humans from the planet Earth. We are sorry for your suffering. We cannot save you, But we will remember you. We will keep your knowledge safe. Your culture will not be forgotten. You are not alone in the universe. The message also included some information about Earth. It told about human history and science. It showed that humans were peaceful, but could fight when needed. It gave the size of Earth's population and showed pictures of human cities. Lisa watched as the message was sent into space. The big radio telescope pointed toward Zephyria and transmitted the signal. It would take 40 years to reach the dying planet. By then, everyone there would be long dead. It's done, Dr. Mitchell said. The message is on its way. Everyone felt both sad and proud. They had done the right thing, but it felt like too little, too late. 3 weeks later, Lisa was back at her job. She still listened to space every night, but now she listened for something different. She wondered if other worlds had heard the Zephyrian message. She wondered if anyone else would answer. One night, she found something strange. Hidden inside the original alien signal were patterns she had not seen before. They were very small and hard to find. Kevin helped her study them. These patterns are different, Kevin said. They're not part of the main message. It's like someone hid them inside the signal. They worked all night to decode the hidden patterns. What they found made Lisa's blood turn cold. The hidden patterns were like a computer program. When Earth's computers received the alien signal, this program had quietly copied itself into Earth's communication systems. It was now spread across the internet, in satellites, and in military computers. It's mapping our world, Lisa said, her voice shaking. This program is learning about Earth. It's studying our technology, our cities, our defenses. Kevin's face was white. The original message wasn't from the Zephyrians, or at least, not all of it. Someone else put this program inside their signal. Lisa realized the terrible truth. The Devourers. They're using the Zephyrian signal as bait. They let other worlds find it, hoping someone will answer. When they answer, the hidden program maps their world. They called Commander Sullivan immediately. Within an hour, the underground room at the White House was full of people again. But this time, everyone looked scared. You're telling us that our response to the aliens gave away everything about Earth? President Foster asked. Yes, Lisa said. The hidden program learned about our technology when we sent our message. It now knows how many people live on Earth. It knows about our cities, our weapons, our spaceships. And worst of all, it knows exactly where Earth is. General Williams stood up. How long do we have? Dr. Mitchell did quick calculations. If the Devourers can travel at the speed of light, they could be here in 40 years. But if they have faster technology, they could arrive much sooner. Captain Harris asked, "What do we know about their ships? How many of them are there?" Lisa showed them pictures from the Zephyrian data. The Devourers' ships were huge, dark, and scary. They looked like they were part machine and part living creature. The Zephyrians had fought hundreds of these ships. According to the alien data, a single Devourer ship can destroy a city in hours, Lisa explained. They don't just attack, they eat everything. They absorb the materials and become stronger. The room was silent. Everyone was thinking the same thing. Earth's 12 spaceships would not be enough. President Foster spoke slowly. We need to prepare for war. Not in 40 years, but as soon as possible. If these creatures are coming, we need to be ready. General Williams nodded. I'll start building more ships immediately. We'll need weapons, shields, and trained crews. Dr. Mitchell added, we should also try to contact other worlds. If the Devourers have been using this trick for a long time, there might be other planets that fell for it too. Maybe we can work together. As the meeting ended, Lisa felt a heavy weight in her chest. Earth had tried to do something good. They had tried to help dying aliens. But their kindness had put the entire world in danger. She looked up at the ceiling, imagining the dark space beyond. Somewhere out there, Creatures that ate worlds were now heading toward Earth. And it was all because humans had cared enough to answer a cry for help. But maybe Lisa thought that caring was also what would help them survive. 3 months had passed since Earth sent its message to the dying aliens. Captain Steve Harris stood on the bridge of the USS Endeavour, looking out at the dark space around Jupiter. His ship was the biggest and strongest that humans had ever built. But right now, it felt very small. "Captain," called Lieutenant Grace Thompson from her station, "we're getting strange readings from the outer solar system. Something big is coming." Steve walked over to look at her screen. The numbers didn't make sense. The objects were huge, bigger than anything humans had ever seen in space, and they were moving fast, much faster than any human ship could go. "How many?" Steve asked. Grace checked her instruments again. "At least 50 ships, sir. Maybe more. They're still too far away to get an exact count." Steve felt his stomach drop. Earth's entire space fleet was only 12 ships. They had built them as fast as possible over the past 3 months, but it wasn't enough time to make many. "Send a message to Earth," Steve ordered. "Tell them the visitors have arrived." On Earth, Dr. Lisa Morgan sat in a room full of military officers and scientists. Everyone was watching the big screen that showed what Steve's ship could see. Dark shapes moved between the stars, getting closer to Earth every hour. General Patricia Williams spoke into her radio. "All Earth ships, this is command. Take positions around Jupiter. Do not attack unless they attack first. We're going to try to talk to them." Dr. Amy Foster, who studied alien life, looked worried. "These ships don't look like anything the Zephyrians described. They're too organic, too alike looking." The alien ships were strange and frightening. They looked like they were made of dark metal, but the metal seemed to move and breathe. Parts of the ships pulsed with red light, like a heartbeat. Commander Tony Rodriguez was in charge of the USS Defender, one of the smaller Earth ships. He tried to send a radio message to the aliens. "Unknown ships? This is Commander Rodriguez of Earth. We come in peace. Please respond." For several minutes, there was no answer. Then, without warning, smaller ships shot out from the alien vessels. These scout ships moved like living things, twisting and turning through space. "They're not responding to our messages," Tony reported, "and they're heading straight for us." Steve watched from the Endeavour as the alien scouts approached the Earth. "Fleet, all ships, raise your shields. Prepare weapons, but do not fire unless fired upon." The first alien scout reached Tony's ship. It was about the size of a small house, black and shiny like an insect. It circled around the Defender, as if studying it. Dr. Foster watched the video feed from Earth. "It's scanning them," she said. "Look at the way it moves. It's learning about our technology." Suddenly, the alien scout fired a beam of energy at the Defender. The beam hit the ship's shield and made it glow bright blue. But the shield held. "They're testing our defenses," Tony radioed. "The beam wasn't strong enough to hurt us. They're just seeing what we can do." More alien scouts surrounded the Earth ships. They all fired weak energy beams, testing different parts of each vessel. Steve realized what was happening. "They're not trying to destroy us," he said. "They're studying us. Just like they studied Zephyria before they attacked." Dr. Morgan, listening from Earth, felt sick. "They're doing exactly what they did to the other world. First they learn, then they attack." General Williams made a hard decision. "Captain Harris, you have permission to fire. We can't let them finish their scans." Steve aimed his ship's biggest weapon at the nearest alien scout. Fire. A bright beam of blue energy shot from the Endeavour and hit the alien scout. The small ship exploded in a ball of fire. For a moment, everything was quiet. Then the other alien scouts stopped their scanning and turned toward the Earth ships. Their peaceful exploring was over. Now they were angry. "All ships, open fire." Steve ordered. The space around Jupiter filled with energy beams and explosions. Earth's ships fired everything they had at the alien scouts. Several more alien ships exploded, but others kept coming. Tony's ship, the Defender, destroyed 2 alien scouts before one of them got too close. The scout fired a much stronger energy beam this time. It punched through the Defender's shield and hit the ship's hull. "We're hit," Tony radioed. "Hull breach on Deck 3. We're losing air." The USS Liberty, commanded by Captain Nick Barnes, moved to help the Defender. But as it approached, something terrible happened. The destroyed alien scout ships were not really destroyed. The pieces of metal and technology from the broken ships were floating toward the larger alien vessels. "What are they doing?" Dr. Foster asked, watching from Earth. The large alien ships were collecting the pieces of their destroyed scouts. As they absorbed the wreckage, the alien ships began to change. Their weapons grew bigger. Their shields became stronger. "They're learning from the battle," Lisa realized. "Every time we destroy one of their ships, they get stronger." Steve saw this too. "All ships, fall back. Don't let them collect any more wreckage." But it was too late. The alien ships had learned enough. Now they knew how strong Earth's weapons were. They knew how fast Earth's ships could move, and they were adapting. The large alien ships moved closer to Jupiter. They were each the size of a small city, dark and menacing. Energy weapons appeared on their hulls, weapons that looked just like the ones on Earth's ships, but bigger. "They copied our technology," Steve said in amazement. "In just a few minutes, they copied everything we have and made it better." One of the large alien ships fired at the USS Liberty. The energy beam was 10 times stronger than anything Earth could produce. Captain Barnes tried to dodge, but the beam was too fast. It hit the Liberty, and the ship exploded instantly. "Nick!" Steve shouted, but there was no answer. The Liberty and everyone on it were gone. The alien ships continued their advance. They were heading for the inner solar system now, toward Mars and Earth. The remaining Earth ships tried to stop them, but their weapons were useless. The aliens had absorbed Earth's technology and made it much more powerful. Dr. Foster watched the battle from Earth. "We need to evacuate," she said. "Our ships can't stop them." But General Williams shook her head. "There's nowhere to run. If these creatures can travel between stars, they'll find us wherever we go." Steve made a desperate decision. He turned the Endeavour around and flew straight at the largest alien ship. "If we can't stop them with weapons, maybe we can ram them." All power to engines. The Endeavour accelerated toward the alien ship, but before it could reach its target, a dozen energy beams hit it. Steve's ship exploded in a flash of light. Tony, in the damaged Defender, was now alone with the alien fleet. He watched as the dark ships continued toward Earth. In a few days, they would reach humanity's home world. He sent one last message to Earth. "The aliens are too strong. They learn everything we do and make it better. We couldn't stop them. I'm sorry." On Earth, everyone watched the screens in silence. The alien ships were coming, and there was nothing left to stop them. But Dr. Morgan was thinking about something. Kevin had told her weeks ago. The Devourers could learn and adapt to anything. But what if humans could find something the aliens couldn't adapt to? What if the secret to beating them wasn't in fighting them the same way every time? She looked at the dark shapes on the screen, getting closer to Earth. "We need to think differently," she said. "If they can copy everything we do, then we need to do things they can't copy." The war for Earth was about to begin, and humanity would have to be more clever than they had ever been before. The alien ships reached Mars in 2 days. They did not land on the red planet. Instead, they surrounded it and began to tear it apart. Giant machines came out of the dark ships and started eating Mars piece by piece. The rocks, the ice, even the thin air, everything went into the alien ships. Dr. Amy Foster watched this from Earth with horror. "They're not just destroying Mars," she said. "They're eating it, just like they did to Zephyria." Earth's remaining leaders met in the underground bunker. Only 7 human ships were left in space. The aliens had more than 40 large vessels, and they were getting stronger every day as they consumed Mars. Colonel Nick Barnes had a new idea. He was the brother of the captain who died at Jupiter, and he wanted revenge. But he was also smart. "We can't fight them the normal way," he said. "Every time we use the same weapons, they learn and get better. We need to be unpredictable." General Williams looked tired. She had not slept in 3 days. "What do you mean, unpredictable?" "We need to change our tactics every single time we fight," Nick explained. "Use different weapons, different ships, different plans. If we never do the same thing twice, maybe they can't adapt fast enough." Dr. Lisa Morgan had been thinking about the same problem. "Kevin and I studied their technology more. We found something interesting. The aliens are very good at learning patterns, but they have trouble with completely random things." Dr. Ryan Mitchell, who had been working on new weapons, got excited. "Random, that's it. What if we build weapons that work randomly? Weapons that change every time we use them." They worked for days on this new idea. Dr. Mitchell built strange new guns that used quantum mechanics. These weapons shot energy beams that changed color, strength, and direction randomly. No 2 shots were ever the same. Lieutenant Commander Grace Thompson volunteered to test the new weapons. She took command of a small, fast ship called the Hornet. Her job was to attack the aliens quickly and then run away before they could learn anything. Grace's first attack was near Mars. She flew her small ship close to one of the alien vessels and fired the quantum weapons. The random energy beams hit the alien ship and damaged it badly. The alien ship tried to copy the weapon, but because the beams were random, there was nothing to copy. It worked. Grace radioed back to Earth. "The alien ship is confused. It keeps trying to make weapons like mine, but mine are different every time I fire." Grace attacked 3 more alien ships over the next week. Each time, she used different random weapons and different flying patterns. The aliens could not figure out how to defend against her. Other human pilots started using Grace's tactics. They formed small groups of fast ships that attacked in random ways. They called themselves the Hornets because they stung the aliens and then flew away quickly. But the aliens were learning something else. They realized they could not easily copy human randomness, so they changed their strategy. Instead of trying to learn human weapons, they decided to simply destroy Earth as fast as possible. The alien fleet left Mars, which was now just a field of floating rocks. They headed straight for Earth. As they traveled, their ships grew larger and darker. They had absorbed so much material from Mars that they were now twice as big as before. Major Sam Cooper was in charge of Earth's moon base. He watched the alien ships approach through his telescope. "They'll be here in 12 hours, he reported. "And they're huge, much bigger than when they fought us at Jupiter." Earth's leaders made a hard choice. They ordered everyone to evacuate the moon base and move to underground shelters on Earth. The moon was too close to space, too easy for the aliens to attack. Sam and his team worked desperately to pack up important equipment. They had to leave most things behind. As they prepared to leave, Sam looked out at Earth hanging in the black sky. It looked so beautiful and peaceful. He wondered if he would ever see it the same way again. The aliens reached Earth's moon just as the last human shuttle was leaving. Sam watched from his shuttle as dark alien ships landed on the moon's surface. Giant machines came out and began eating the moon, just like they had eaten Mars. "They're not just taking the rocks," reported Dr. Foster, who was on the shuttle with Sam. "They're taking everything. The moon's metal, its gravity, even its orbit around Earth. They're changing how Earth moves through space." On Earth, people could see the aliens destroying the moon with their naked eyes. The moon, which had shone in Earth's sky for billions of years, was being torn apart, piece by piece. Many people cried as they watched. Children asked their parents why the moon was disappearing. The aliens finished eating the moon in 3 days. Now their ships were even bigger and more frightening. They moved toward Earth itself, ready to begin the final attack. Grace and her Hornets tried to stop them. They flew their small ships between the alien vessels, shooting random weapons and trying to damage the alien machines. They managed to destroy several alien scouts, but the main ships were too big and too strong. "We're not doing enough damage," Grace radioed it to Earth. "There are too many of them, and they're too big. We need a new plan." Dr. Mitchell had been working on something special. "I've been studying the alien technology we captured at Jupiter," he said. "I think I know how to build a virus. Not a disease, virus, but a computer virus. Something that could get into their systems and confuse them." The virus was based on pure randomness. It would get into the alien computers and fill them with random information. The aliens would try to learn from this information, but since it was completely random, it would just confuse them more and more. "How do we get the virus into their ships?" asked General Williams. Commander Tony Rodriguez, who had survived the Jupiter battle in his damaged ship, volunteered for the mission. "I'll fly my ship right into their biggest vessel. I'll upload the virus directly into their main computer." Everyone knew this was a suicide mission. Tony's ship was already damaged, and he would not be able to escape from inside an alien vessel, but he was determined to try. "My ship is barely working anyway," Tony said. "At least this way, my death might mean something." Dr. Morgan helped prepare the virus. As she worked, she thought about how this war had started. Humans had tried to help the dying aliens of that kindness had brought war to Earth. But now, human cleverness and bravery might save the world. Tony's ship, the Defender, flew toward the largest alien vessel. The alien ship was now the size of a small country, dark and covered with weapons. As Tony approached, hundreds of energy beams fired at him. His ship's shields failed immediately. The hull was hit dozens of times. But Tony kept flying forward, heading for what looked like a docking bay on the alien ship. "Almost there," he radioed, "uploading the virus now." Tony's ship crashed into the alien vessel and exploded. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, slowly, the giant alien ship began to act strangely. Its lights flickered. Its weapons fired randomly into space. The ship started spinning in circles. "The virus is working," Dr. Mitchell shouted. "Their main computer is infected with randomness. They can't think straight anymore." But Tony's sacrifice had only confused one ship. There were still dozens of other alien vessels approaching Earth, and now they knew that humans could attack their computers. The real battle for Earth was about to begin. The alien ships were now in Earth's atmosphere. People all over the world could see them in the sky, like dark clouds that blocked out the sun. The ships were so big that they cast shadows over entire cities. In New York, London, Tokyo, and every other major city, people looked up in fear at the metal monsters above them. Dr. Lisa Morgan was in the deep underground bunker with Earth's remaining leaders. On the screens around her, she could see the destruction beginning. The aliens had started eating Earth's atmosphere. Giant tubes came down from their ships and sucked up the air that people needed to breathe. "We have maybe 6 hours before the air gets too thin," reported Dr. Amy Foster. "After that, everyone on the surface will start to die." General Patricia Williams looked at the battle reports. "Our remaining ships are fighting as hard as they can, but it's not enough. The Hornets destroyed 12 alien scouts, but there are still 35 major vessels." Lisa was studying data on her computer when she found something amazing. Hidden deep in the original Zephyrian message were coordinates, not just for Zephyria, but for dozens of other worlds. "Kevin, look at this," she called to her partner. The Zephyrians didn't just send their message to Earth, they sent it to 47 different star systems. Kevin studied the data. "You're right?" They were hoping someone, somewhere, would hear them and help. Lisa felt her heart beat faster. What if other worlds answered the message? What if Earth isn't the only planet fighting the Devourers right now? Dr. Ryan Mitchell heard this and got excited. If there are other civilizations fighting the same enemy, maybe we can work together. Maybe we can coordinate our attacks. Admiral Rebecca Stone, who now commanded all of Earth's space forces, liked this idea. How do we contact these other worlds? Lisa worked frantically on her computer. I can modify our radio telescope to send a signal to all the coordinates in the Zephyrian data. If anyone is out there, and if they're fighting the Devourers, they might answer. They sent out a desperate message. This is Earth. We received the Zephyrian signal. The Devourers are attacking our world. Are you fighting them too? Can we help each other? For one terrible hour, there was no response. Then, signals started coming in from across the galaxy. The first response came from a world called Korvax. Earth, this is the Korvax defense fleet. The Devourers attacked us 3 months ago. We are still fighting. How many ships do you have? More messages followed. The planet Theros reported that they had been fighting Devourers for 2 years. The Kalani system said they had defeated a small Devourer fleet, but expected more to arrive soon. In total, 23 different worlds were fighting the same enemy. This is incredible, said Admiral Stone. We're not alone. There's a whole war going on across the galaxy. But the news was not all good. Each world was fighting alone, and most were losing. The Devourers were too smart, too adaptable. They learned from each battle and became stronger. Lisa had an idea. What if we all attack at the same time? What if we share our random weapons and virus technology with everyone? The Devourers can't adapt to pure randomness. Dr. Mitchell began working on a new, more powerful virus. This one would be shared among all the worlds fighting the Devourers. Each planet would add their own random elements to it, making it completely unpredictable. But they needed a way to deliver the virus to the main Devourer fleet. Intelligence from the other worlds revealed that all Devourer ships were controlled by one massive mother ship. If they could infect that ship, they might be able to confuse the entire fleet. Commander Tony Rodriguez's sacrifice had shown them that suicide missions could work, but this time, they needed someone to volunteer for an even more dangerous job. Captain Steve Harris had survived when his ship was destroyed at Jupiter. He had been rescued by Grace's Hornets and was now on Earth. He volunteered to lead the final mission. I'll take a small ship loaded with our most powerful virus, Steve said. I'll get inside their mother ship and upload it directly to their main computer. Admiral Stone shook her head. Steve, that's impossible. The mothership is surrounded by hundreds of other vessels. You'll never get close. Not if I go alone, Steve replied. But what if I have help? What if ships from 23 different worlds all attack at the same time? While they're distracted, I might be able to slip through. It was a desperate plan, but it was their only hope. Lisa sent messages to all the worlds they had contacted. In 6 hours, we will coordinate a galaxy-wide attack on all Devourer fleets. Earth will attempt to destroy the mother ship. Can you help us? The responses came quickly. Every world that was still fighting agreed to help. The Korvax fleet would attack the Devourers in their system at exactly the same time as Earth's attack. The Theros Defense Force would do the same. All across the galaxy, the remaining free worlds would strike together. Steve climbed into a small, fast ship that Dr. Mitchell had modified with the most advanced random weapons and the most powerful virus they could create. Grace and her Hornets would escort him as far as they could. Remember, Dr. Mitchell told Steve, the virus needs about 30 seconds to fully upload. Once you start the transfer, you have to stay connected to their computer for half a minute. Steve nodded. He knew he probably would not survive 30 seconds inside the alien mother ship, but if the virus worked, it might save Earth and all the other worlds fighting the Devourers. The attack began at exactly noon, Earth time. Ships from 23 different worlds launched simultaneous attacks on devourer fleets across the galaxy. Each world used their own versions of random weapons and chaos viruses. On Earth, Grace led her Hornets in a desperate charge against the alien ships. They fired everything they had, creating confusion and drawing the aliens' attention away from Steve's small ship. Steve flew through the battle, dodging energy beams and alien scouts. The Devourer mothership was enormous, bigger than any city. On Earth it floated in the center of the alien fleet like a dark mountain in space. "I'm approaching the mothership," Steve radioed. "I can see an opening in its hull." He flew his ship into what looked like a docking bay. Inside, the ship was dark and frightening. The walls seemed to be alive, pulsing with red light. Alien creatures moved in the shadows, but they did not attack. They seemed confused by all the fighting outside. Steve found what looked like a computer terminal. It was not like any human technology, but Dr. Mitchell had taught him what to look for. He connected his ship's computer to the alien system and started uploading the virus. "Upload beginning," he reported. "I need 30 seconds. Outside, the battle was getting worse. The aliens had realized that one of the human ships was missing. They began searching for Steve, sending scouts into their own mothership. 10 seconds, Steve said into his radio. Alien creatures found his ship. They began attacking it with energy weapons. Steve's ship started to fall apart around him. 20 seconds. The hull of his ship was breaking. Air was leaking out. Steve put on his spacesuit and kept working. 25 seconds. An alien creature broke into his ship. It was part machine, part living thing, just like the Zephyrians had described. It reached for Steve with metal claws. 30 seconds. Upload. Complete. Steve's ship exploded. The alien creature and everything around it was destroyed. But the virus was now in the mothership's computer. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the massive alien ship began to behave strangely. Its lights flickered randomly. Its weapons fired in all directions. The ship started to spin and tumble through space. More importantly, the virus began spreading to all the other Devourer ships. Since they were all connected to the mothership, they all became infected with randomness. The entire alien fleet became confused and chaotic. On Earth, people watched in amazement as the giant alien ships stopped attacking and started flying in circles. Some ships crashed into each other. Others flew away from Earth at random speeds. Dr. Morgan received messages from across the galaxy. The coordinated attack had worked everywhere. Devourer fleets on 23 worlds were all infected with chaos viruses. The creatures that had eaten so many worlds were now too confused to fight. But the best news came 3 days later. The virus had done more than just confuse the Devourers. It had also disrupted their ability to communicate with other Devourer fleets across the galaxy. For the first time in thousands of years, the Devourer species was divided and weak. Grace, now promoted to Admiral, sent a message to all the worlds that had fought together. "The Devourers are retreating from our systems. They seem to be running away from any world that has chaos weapons. We have won this battle." Dr. Foster studied the retreating alien ships. "They're not just leaving," she reported. "They're afraid. The virus has made them afraid of randomness, afraid of anything they can't understand or control." In the months that followed, Earth became the center of a new alliance. 23 worlds that had never met before began working together. They shared technology, knowledge, and friendship. They called themselves the Galactic Defense Alliance. Lisa often thought about how it all began. Earth had heard a cry for help from a dying world, and had answered with kindness. That kindness had brought war, but it had also brought something wonderful. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe. The Zephyrians were gone, but their final message had connected dozens of worlds. In trying to save themselves, they had actually saved the galaxy. Steve Harris was remembered as a hero on 23 worlds. Grace Thompson became the first human to command ships from other planets. Dr. Mitchell's chaos. Weapons became the standard defense against any future devourer attacks, and Dr. Lisa Morgan continued to listen to space. But now, instead of hoping to hear something, she was part of a galactic community that talked to each other every day. Earth had answered one SOS and had found a family among the stars. The war was over. The real adventure was just beginning.